Hello everyone. Today I'll be discussing about some questions and answers and some discussion raised in the online Facebook cubing community page about Feistel. So first of all, this post is from Samra from 11th February 2017. So that's like about 2 years, 2.5 years back from now. And he said, "Is anyone going to develop Feistel soon?" And yeah, so it was back in 2017, and Feistel hadn't gained that much traction, and most of the comments were me just trying to say it's better to focus on other aspects of BLD like memo and drilling algs. But yeah, one more comment that Hari Anirudh gave was, why don't you work on your memo, and anyone can memo in sub 20. So I think that's a valid point. So before jumping into some very advanced techniques, it's good to focus on your memo. And yeah, so and also Hari said that to develop rotational algs. So for corners, if you have UFR buffer, then the algs are really rotational and fast. So it's good to develop that. So that was the response in 2017. Okay, so now let's go. Oliver Wheat posted in again September of 2017, 2 years back. He said, I've seen Oleg Gritsenko having Feistel algs. Yeah, I've seen it. Some about 1000-ish algs from the UR or UF buffer. I'm not sure, but yeah, some mostly the MUs, and then attaching the L and Rs and making the big set out of it. So he asks, does anyone know Feistel and uses all of them? So Gregory Alexiev says maybe Gritsenko knows some easy cases, and he says I'm planning to learn. So yeah, that so it's always good to learn the easy MU cases, but the thing is there isn't any return of investment. These cases are very rare, even rarer than an LL skip. So that's why even you can learn the MU cases, but chances are you have to wait a long time for it to come in a solve. So yeah, Graham Siggins replies to that the effect of using one phi cycle in a solve will have 1/4 of an effect of an LL skip. So yeah, let me try and explain that. So phi style alg will only speed up by about 20-30%. It won't be like an LL skip where there is zero moves to solve the LL. So that's why Feistel, even though it's more rarer than LL skip, the returns is not 100% in it. So yeah, Gregory Alexiev then comes to his senses and replies, so it's better to learn stuff like floating buffers or advanced parity. And yeah, so that's the answer. uh, so yeah, Bernard Bordowski also says that yeah, MU with the set, like every person who gets the idea of the phi style first tries and thinks of the MU algs, MU M prime U prime. So yeah, so that's Gregory Alexiev. Bertie Logan says Feistel along with letter chords is the future. Yeah, +1 to that. Woohoo! So yeah, that's true. Maybe that can happen. So yeah, some meme-ish replies to it, but yeah, so he said that it's possible. Let's see. Adam Javelski says, if someone actually learns it and uses it without pauses, damn, would it save a lot of time? um, it will save us a lot of time, but I don't think so it will improve a lot over 3BLD. So like with 3BLD people are reaching now 15 seconds, 20 seconds. With Feistel it's just 1 or 2 seconds speed up. It's not like you'll half your times. So yeah, he said. And Graham Seconds replies, it would make probably make full visual memo realistic since you have to do 5 Ls. So I completely agree. So one of the main reasons why I really want to do Feistel for the last 3 years is that you just get 5 L scrambles every time. So that's a good, nice feeling. Yeah. So and moving forward, Oleg Gritsenko kind of mocks this question of Oliver Wheat and says that does anyone knows So he said, why don't you ask one person in question? So yeah. So Oliver Gritsenko just said, you just could have personal messaged me. I could have said yes or no. Okay, and Guido, who is another very good enthusiast person in Feistel, he likes it, and he's secretly like practicing only the MULs, I think. So he said he has made an intuitive 5 cycle guide, and I've seen it. It's on Pastebin. It's good enough, but still can need a lot of work. So yeah. So yeah, that's the Oliver Weed discussion. Now let's go to Aiden Bryant. Aiden Bryant posted in 14 May this year. So in this year itself, Feistel has gained a lot of traction because about 4-5 months back I released my documentation on it, and the documentation had some example solves, some like realistic case scenarios and some stuff. So Aiden Bryant just makes a poll about like if people learn Feistel, will they use full Feistel, partial Feistel, only for edges, only for corners, only the MU commutators, or only some very talented people, very elite top builders will use it. So yeah, so what is the scene? It was a poll, and Carter makes a very intelligent comment. He says, he says, right now we are already using two-phase Feistel, which is do the first com, second com, and he argues that Feistel is nothing but most of the optimal algs of Feistel will be just a combination of two 3 cycle algs, and I kind of agree and disagree with it. Like there are many algs which save about 6 moves. So if two 3 cycle algs make about 18 moves pure commutators, 8 plus 8 16 moves, then a Feistel alg of it will be only 10 moves. So Christian Nagua says full Feistel will be used by top 3x3 solvers in the future. Who knows? Yeah, and then Chris Choi says 8 style is where it's at. So yeah, he's just mocking. So yeah, that's it. That's the post. There are a lot of yo's also, but yo is uh, actually the funny thing is I've named the notation of memorizing algorithms of Feistel as yo notation. So like this, the U turn is A, U prime is B, and L is G, and so on. I've just encoded all the alphabets in a turn, and now you can memorize algorithms. So yeah, that's why yo notation and just yo itself. So let's move on to the next post. Danish Adam posts on 20 July. So that's like very recent. Please briefly explain what is Feistel. So yeah, he just wanted to know. Maybe he's not a pro cuber, but he wants to think, is there a method like that? So it's very important to make everyone clear that if this method is there, how hard it is anyone using it? If you're a beginner, in how many years should you use it? Like I've made a documentation Feistel in 5 years. So if you just start cubing and you want to learn Feistel at the end of the 5th year, maybe you can follow that schedule. So yeah, some Stephen Ard says it's a myth. Okay, Feistel is a myth. Braden Gilland says, why aren't we talking about 12 style? So Timo answers it correctly because it's parity and parity sucks. So yeah, 12 style will involve just solving 11 pieces. Not all the scrambles will have 11 edge pieces to solve. Samra says it's hard. I think so. He's just mocking me again because 2 years back I replied to his post about Feistel and saying it's hard, and he just says now it's hard. Okay, and some Chinese keeper says too unrealistic. I think it reduces to A, B, C, D, J, spef subset and use set of moves. So I kind of find this comment a bit confusing, but he says it's a bit of overkill to use Feistel. So I kind of agree with it. Vanessa Abelos says I use 6 style. Okay, it's like similar like Chris Joy. Then Samra again says it exists in the 5th dimension. So yeah, there is one thing that people always confuse is 3 style is for 3x3, 5 style is for 5x5, but that's not the case. Feistel is for 3 by 3, and for 5F5 BLD, making algs is tough because it's not center safe, pieces are in different orbits and so on, so it's harder. So yeah, that's Danish Adams post. Then Elijah Brown posted on 28th July this year. Is Feistel viable? And I think so. This post got a lot of traction. So Jake Klaskin says we all must learn Feistel to stay relevant. I don't know. 3 style is already very good enough. 5 style is just my main aim of like developing 5 style for the last 4 years is just to roll it in or roll it out. So either it gets accepted as a method or no one actually pursues it because I've documented it well and it's hard. So that's the main fun. Carter again says his own funda that 5 style is nothing but combination of 2 3 style algs and it's nothing more. So yeah, Aiden Debsky says 5 style is the most efficient method for 3 BLD. So yeah, he just makes a wild statement and people are commenting out that like 6 style, 7 style, 13 style and so on. So yeah, a lot of yo's in this comment. And then someone says for 5 BLD, yes, 5 style is viable for 5 BLD. But then he makes again a very common joke that 3 style is for 3 BLD and 5 style is for 5 by 5, which isn't true. And Elmer, whom I had a very big discussion with, he says that I honestly think there is some potential. However, the amount of time you have to put into it is absolutely insane. So yeah, that's true. But if you learn say 100 to 300 algs or more, which I think is quite doable, you could probably learn some nice ones to complement 3 style. Ambiguous statement, but yeah, okay, learning, you can always learn the complete 5 style by just starting with the mu set and then progressing on, so on. He just gives some alg cases and he 2 3 style algs and 1 5 style alg, and he just asks me out how to finger trick it and see if it's faster. So I have a very nice discussion with him and I even reconstructed some solves for him. So yeah, Quinn Lawson says, I was thinking about this earlier. It seems really good and efficient in theory, in my opinion, but I'll have to see a few people learn and use it before I decide. So that's a very smart answer. So Quinn basically thinks that 5 style, it's a good thing in theory, but unless someone uses it, he won't even think about it. And Guido replies it fast because Guido is a guy who he finds fun out of 5 style. So he says the first person who learns and uses it, by that time you won't be cubing, because 5 style can take about 5 years 6 years to learn, and if someone starts now, maybe 2024 25, and it will take a lot of time. So that's the discussion created by Elijah Brown. Now one more, this is the last discussion created by Michael Nelson, and it was created yesterday. 5 style tips. He asked 5 style tips. So so most of the people, like Samra said, 5 style is emotion. No idea what that is. It's kind of a irrelevant statement, but yeah, so on. Scene Otoli says turn fast. So yeah, the tip of 5 style is you have to turn fast. So my main aim is to make algs very regripless, and 5gen like MSERDU 6gen, okay, and so on. And this comment got a lot of yo's, and yeah, so basically 5 style tip is yo. That's the tip that I can give. Learn the yo notation and try and memorize as many algs you can using the yo notation. Follow my channel 5 style repertoire so that you can get all the algs drilled out. I have a whole playlist created for it. So yeah, that's it. That's the comments as of August 2019. I'll make another part 2 if more people discuss on the Facebook. And my question for you is, what do you think about 5 style? Do you think it's people will use it in the future, or it's just a very big cubing scam that I'm creating? So yeah, just let me know, and what are your thoughts on it, and thank you for watching.